Bienvenidos todos and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Sigue Adelante podcast. Today we have pretty much the other half of Sigue Adelante, Miss Lidia and I. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here again.
This is the third episode that you've been in.
Oh, third and hopefully more.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have you more. Um, Today we're kind of talking about something a little bit different than previous episodes. We were watching a show and it kind of inspired me a little bit on this episode. I don't know if you've seen Love on the Spectrum, but it's pretty much a show of people that are autistic that are, trying to find significant others because it's a little bit difficult for them, and watching the show just, it makes you kind of really, really happy just to see how they interact with one another and just how amazing of people that they are. You yourself, you have a little brother who is autistic.
Yes.
His name is Baruch. Baruch is one of a kind. We love Baruch. He's an amazing individual. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about Baruch and what it's like having him as your brother and all the experiences you've gone through.
Yeah, so we always say, this quote in my family, and you know it too, is like we all live in Baruch's world because one, Baruch is the youngest in our family. He's my youngest brother, the youngest sibling, so we automatically always lived in this world. But when he got the diagnosis of being autism, that's when we're like, oh yeah, this is Baruch's world. We found out Baruch was autistic when he was a fairly young age. I believe, my senior year of high school. I remember learning about autism and the autistic in anatomy. So I'm trying to remember if it's like my junior or senior year in high school. But when reading it, I was like, oh, it sound like Baruch, where he kind of had some difficulty speaking, his flapping of his hands or certain movements that he would do really aligned with what the book had said. During that time, my family was in the process of getting him checked because we weren't sure of why he wasn't speaking yet, nor certain things what he would do. We were kind of like, my mom and my dad never had that with any of us.
Yeah.
So it's such a new subject, but also just a new experience for us in general. So around the same time is when he was getting tested then at the doctors, and they did say he had autism. At the beginning, I feel like it was very shocking because you don't know how to react. And truthfully, prior to this, we didn't know much information of autism. And Baruch is such a blessing because he's taught us so much. And very much he's taught us so much. But not only that, I felt like as soon as I found out that he's autistic, I immediately wanted to inform other individuals of what the autism is and how common it is, because
Big time.
1 in 36 individuals have autism.
Oh wow.
So when you think about this, that's pretty much your average classroom in elementary school, middle school, and high school. So at least one individual there has it, but it's also very common in male rather than women.
Oh, okay.
But that's some brief of the story that happened. As I start communicating with other individuals, and I do, it's not a subject that I bring up right away, but when you meet Baruch, he's
Baruch's
such one of a
best,
kind.
yeah.
He's one of a kind. He's super duper loving. He's such a jokester. He's very charismatic, but he very much carries his heart on his sleeve. And I feel like with autism, it's a spectrum. Literally, autism spectrum is such a huge spectrum that some individuals maybe have more difficulty in speaking or with their emotions, with their demeanor, the conversations with individuals. It's so wide that you can't specifically have one. They're not all, no one's the same. And specifically in them, they're not the same. And truthfully, we probably all have a little bit of that within us, because you have different characteristics. Like sometimes like I get nervous and I can't make eye contact or something. So it's very much
It's such
what
a broad spectrum, and
correct.
it's so many different like situations that
Mhm.
they might struggle with or that they go through.
Yeah.
So that's crazy though that you said 1 in 36 people have it.
Yeah.
Oh.
1 in 36. I know it did, and the average increased like in the most I think the 2 years, because I think previously it was like 1 in 44. Because I
Mm.
remember when I was in college too, like I was able to teach the class something in my speech class, and I did choose to inform people about autism.
Mm.
So it was very, and like it's just so informative, and I feel like it's such a blessing too, because like they teach you so much. And I feel like when we were watching the show too, like it's such a show that I'm either laughing, crying, smiling. I'm like giddy because it's just such a good show, but also it just reminds me of like how amazing Baruch is, and just other individuals in the world pretty much. Because truthfully, I probably know like a good amount of individuals who are on the spectrum, and
Mhm.
all of them are like so different compared to each other, and they're so amazing and they're so incredible, and they're probably one of the most intelligent individuals as well.
Oh yeah.
Like their brain is wow. Like Baruch, like the things that he creates with his Legos, and certain things like the other day or other 2 years ago or a year ago, he like knew what DNA was, and I was like, wait, I'm like,
He's only like 11, 12?
yeah, he was like, I'm
Yeah.
like, how do you know? He's like, well, the cells, because he was looking at a cell diagram, and he's like, yeah, all those little ones make up your DNA, and I'm like, what the heck? And like he surprises me every single day. Um,
I think with Baruch too, when he like explains and talks about like his emotions,
yes.
it's like it's crazy. It's so funny. Like he's
Yeah.
very like detailed and particular about what he says, and it's like, oh shoot, okay.
Yeah. No,
Um,
certain things, when he'll say certain words too, I'm like, where did you get that from? You're so funny. But no, exactly. I feel like I'm always in awe and super proud of him because he's so incredible. But like I said, like specifically with Baruch, like he does very well with his emotions, but at the same time he has a sense of difficulty when seeing other people sad, or
mhm.
whenever like a certain part in the movie comes out, or a TV show comes out and it's a little more gory, it's a more sad, he'll immediately want to walk away, and like and he's like, oh, I can't watch this, I can't watch this.
Mhm.
We would do that when we would see like people kiss when we were younger.
Yeah.
He did to do that when there's a little more emotions into it, because I feel like he is very much within his emotions, that he'll probably start feeling the same way, and he doesn't want to feel that, so he walks away. But
I noticed too, he doesn't like to see people get hurt or anything like that. He's like so like loving of everybody. He's like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you
yes,
okay?" Like if somebody falls or something like that. He's
yeah,
like, if I ever get like a cut, he'll be like, "What's wrong?" Like what? Like
yeah,
he gets all concerned. So
yeah. No, he's very, very much concerned about other individuals. Like the other day when you were running in the rain, he was
mm.
like, you should call Caesar. Like, you should call him to make sure he's okay, because he's very much concerned about other individuals. And whenever I have a headache or a migraine, he's like, what can I do to help? He wants to massage my head. He'll be like, maybe you should not work. Maybe you should not do this, because he immediately thinks I'm stressed or I'm not doing well. So I feel like he's so much caring. Um, I'm always like, literally every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, it's just crazy to think about it, because true, like I haven't thought about Baruch's story in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, the where he is now is so incredible of where he was when he started. Um,
Because I've known Baruch probably like 4 or 5 years,
yeah,
and
5 years.
just seeing him like grow up and develop and go through all of this,
Hmm.
it's incredible.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like super proud of him, because I can we can never put ourselves in their shoes,
Mm.
and we can't really understand how they see the world and how they feel the world. On YouTube, I remember there's a little like 3D model like video where you can kind of feel how they feel and their sensory.
I've seen a video like that before. It's
Yeah.
kind of like how they visualize the world, and like
Yes.
how there was like a YouTube video, I think, and then their attention would just randomly go here and then
Yeah.
here and then here.
But not only that, like if certain sounds are super loud or the lighting and certain things, and you're just like, whoa, like they're the most strongest people ever. Because like I can't imagine being in any area and kind of like having that environment around them 24/7. Or some people may have it worse, some people may have it less, but it's wild. But it kind of makes sense too, because when Brooke was younger and we would go to restaurants, he would tend to like scream or he would cry, and we're like kind of confused on why would that occur. But then we realized it's like, oh my gosh, no, the restaurants are loud. Like there's different noises, the lighting is a change too. Like so now when he's older, I'm like, oh, like I wonder how he does it, or like I kind of like I would love to learn a little bit more on like how they see the world, because it's really his world.
The thing is too, it's like there's no one specific like diagnosis, like you said. It's like some people have sensory. It's like loud noises might, or lights and all that stuff. But then again, just a smell of something might trigger somebody else. The spectrum is so broad. That's why I think it's pretty hard to diagnose somebody like 1 in 36 people. It's like there's there's no one thing that's like, okay, you have it. Like there's so many different things, and I think that's what kind of we need to bring more awareness to. That way we can kind of help people get their diagnosis and like help them through those situations that they go through, because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And then I know with the show too, it was, I think one person was like this one girl, she was like 17 years old
18.
18 years old when she got diagnosed.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's like not until later in their life that they find out, and a lot of times they feel like, they kind of feel left out of certain situations. They feel like they're different from everybody else, and it's really sad. Like they're no less than you and I. Like they're all brilliant, amazing people. It's been crazy seeing Brooke develop just as a person.
Yeah, and I feel like with Brooke, we're very lucky because he was diagnosed at such a young age. I saw a statistic today too that you're able to get diagnosed as early as 2 years old, and thank goodness that nowadays people are getting diagnosed early, and then you could get a better education, find a way to assist them in any single way. And I feel like a lot of people still aren't informed or still don't know what to do, because I wouldn't have any idea if I wasn't taking anatomy that year and this all happened at the same time and I read into it and Googled it, because exactly what you said, it's just so broad, like you won't know for sure. And I remember the girl in the show, she was like, oh, this all makes sense why it was this way, it all makes sense why this. And when I'm watching shows too, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, I'm on the spectrum, and I'm like, wait, what? Like I would have no idea they're on the spectrum. And it's just incredible to see that these people are so amazing, doing all these incredible things, and then they find out and they like just educate other people more. But also not only that, they have such an inspirational story for everyone. Like they're an inspiration. Like you see everything that you do and you're like, whoa, like I wouldn't have known. And it's just awesome how powerful they are and intelligent and super much. But
what I noticed too is like one of the similarities I think between everybody is that they all have like a very strong passion for something.
Yes.
Like there's one thing, whether it be animals, cartoons, music, video, whatever it be, they have like one thing and they are like the best at it. They know every single thing about it. With like on the show, they love animals. They'll tell you. There's a show Atypical too. And the main character, he's on spectrum and he has an obsession with penguins, and he has millions of drawings of penguins and he can tell you everything. That's another good show, Atypical. You should check it out. But yeah, no, they're like passion, and then they're focused on that one particular subject or whatever it be that they like is cool. I think with Baruch, it's kind of
Legos.
Legos, his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
He really likes his YouTube videos.
Yeah, he is his three favorite things.
Oh, the Grimace. He loves
Like,
the
there it
Grimace
is.
right
I'm
now.
like
Yeah.
Legos, Grimace, and the color green.
When he likes watching the Minecraft videos.
Yes,
Yeah.
Minecraft too. He's very, very much into it. It's funny because the other day too, he was here and he was talking to your mom, and your mom's like, "Oh, Caesar like Legos too." And Brooke goes, "Yeah, that's a common thing. A lot of kids like Legos." And I was like, "Okay, Baruch."
Yeah.
Like he'll just say certain things. He's like, "Yeah, it's a common thing." And I was like, "Oh, that's he's so honest. He is the most honest kid ever." Yesterday he was live with my dad, and my dad asked him. Well, he didn't know I was asking the questions, and I asked. I was like, "Oh, who's your favorite sibling?" And he literally answered the question, and he said DJ, which is my other younger brother. And I was like, "Oh, the honesty! Like, he is
Dang.
so honest. Certain things too, like he'll tell me, like, "Oh, you look good," or like he'll be like, like he'll look, or he's so honest, and I love it, and I love it because it just, it's funny, but two, and I'm just like, okay, if I ever need a question or need to know something, I'm definitely gonna ask Baruch's opinion, because Baruch will tell me the honest truth. Because certain things I'll ask him and be like, when I was car shopping, I was like, "Oh, what color car should I get?" And he was like, "Don't get that one because they won't see you at night." That's a smart idea, right? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, you're really smart." And he's so quirky. I love it.
I think one thing too with having like a family member, friend, or someone
Hmm.
on the spectrum is that it brings the family together too.
Yes.
You know, like they all have to work as a team to, be there for one another and then support the individual who is on the spectrum too.
Yeah, no, that's very much true. I feel like when Baruch did get the diagnosis, we very much united. We all found a way to educate ourselves on what can we do to assist. Um, my, I feel like we all kind of had a turn too, where we would go to his classrooms. So like when I was in high school, or when not even like college, I felt like I did some community service hours, and I would go to his class, or I would go to the elementary school class and help. But my sister also was assisting there for a while too, and during COVID, it was like a big step where we stepped up and assisted with schooling. Even my other brother DJ, he did his community service hours in his classroom. So we were very much united in learning new things. I was wondering, for like, how was it for you when you got brought into my family and you found out Brooke was on the spectrum? Like, how did you manage that, or how do you think you changed your ways, or did you educate yourself, or like, I actually never asked you that question before.
A little bit of everything, because growing up, I had a cousin who has autism as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first went over, um, I noticed a couple similarities right off the bat. And then you kind of had told me a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about him. And so it was definitely something different at first that I had to adjust to. Because when we first would hang out,
Mm-hmm.
one thing Brooke had, he had I think like a lot of like certain noises would get him
Mm-hmm.
triggered, and he would kind of like panic, and then he used to
Same.
scream a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I kind of just had to learn how to be a little bit more patient with him, and then kind of with the speaking too. Sometimes it's not easy to understand what he's saying, even now. So you have to like kind of have your ears a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more locked in on your listening. That way you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, and then yeah, it was definitely something that I had to adjust to, and I had to kind of like do some research on my own, like what should I do? What should I not
Yeah.
do? What would help him out in this certain situation? But I think being around your family a lot, um, kind of Brooke got more and more used to me, being more comfortable with me. So like he sees me like all the time, so he's like comfortable with me. So
Yeah.
he's able to kind of be like himself more. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but with playing with around with Baruch, like we'll play like soccer, basketball, whatever. And he's bulletproof.
Oh
I've
no.
seen Baruch fall really hard, and he gets up like nothing.
Yeah, no. Even
He,
when he was younger, he would have these falls, and typically every baby or toddler would scream and cry, and his pain tolerances is like
sheesh, Baruch is
through,
OP.
yeah, through the roof. I'm like, how are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine. He's like, ow, but I'm fine. And I get super surprised. But yeah, he used to have like more stimming prior, but
What is
also,
stimming when they?
so pretty much like if they flap their fingers or their, a lot of them have different, like they do different things. Like they'll tap their hands, they rub. I feel like that's certain things that a lot of people on the spectrum do, or some don't, and some have them a little bit more.
Mm,
So when he used to be get like this when he got anxious or when he wasn't comfortable somewhere, and then yelling was a huge thing too. And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, he like really doesn't do that anymore.
No, I can't honestly. Don't remember the last time that he's done it.
No, I feel like it was probably no, like that was so long. I feel like, and then another one too is that um, previously it was difficult to understand him. So when we would ask him to repeat himself, he would get frustrated. And I
Mm,
feel like now we don't need to ask him that much, but when we do, he doesn't get frustrated.
yeah.
He'll try to explain it a little bit more. And he's very much more curious as well when I say a certain word that he doesn't understand, or if he ever sees me working, he very much is like interested in what I'm doing,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'll ask like, "What is that? What does that mean?" And I love his curiosity because it's super cool, and I'm like, okay, like it's cool, like I'm able to communicate him a little bit more. And sometimes I'll have like conversations that we would have together, and I would like talk to him, and I'm like, damn, bro, like
It's like you're talking to an adult with Baruch
yes.
sometimes.
I
Yeah.
was like,
It's
oh,
like
okay,
very sophisticated and
yes,
intellectual. Yeah.
yeah,
I know. A lot of times I'll take like videos on Snapchat, and
uh-huh.
then sometimes he always will like look over my phone, and then he's like, "What are you doing?" And like, I'll take him to Snapchat, and then he'll be like, "Let me borrow it," and then he'll start playing around with the filters. Sometimes he'll like prop his phone up like this,
Oh yeah,
and it
he's a
has so many
vlogger.
videos, and he'll be like, "Ah," and then he'll be like, "Oh, I'm Shrek," and this. It's so funny.
He is very much a vlogger. Like he has an iPad and he'll like to vlog. He'll like to do little tour videos. The other day I found out that he was on FaceTime with his friend from
Oh
school
shoot, really?
for like hours
Oh no.
because they were both like communicating and talking, and then they were in break and they were about to start school the next day, and they were just on FaceTime forever. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Like that makes me super duper happy, and also it makes me laugh from like a sister point of view because I'm like, my mom would not ever let me be on FaceTime in that young age with my friends, but I'm like, go Baruch, you do your thing.
And then one thing too that we saw in the show, like luckily Baruch is fortunate to have, he's surrounded by kind of similar individuals as well as like us,
Mm-hmm.
and but he has a lot of like friends.
Yeah.
But one thing that I noticed that's kind of like it's sad is a lot of times some people on the spectrum they're not able to connect with other
Yeah.
people. Sometimes they don't really have that much friends, or
It's hard for
they
them
have
to
just kind of like
communicate.
they have kind of just their family there,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of it makes you really sad to see like dang like they kind of sometimes they have a lonely life, and they don't get to be in like similar situations or experience like the same things, kind of like relationships or love lives and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good to broaden the awareness, that way people can know more, and then we could just like that's why I really like that show, because it like gives these not kids but like honestly they go from like it's like 18 to like there's like a 60-year-old guy
Yeah.
too. It gives these people um, opportunities that they normally wouldn't have. a lot of times they're like, oh, it's my first ever date. Like I think like 90% of them is like their first ever date. So it's
Yeah.
like really, it's really good to see them, like, and sometimes it's hard on them too. I know
Mm-hmm.
there's this one guy who was like, his mind was just like, I've never been like this. I've never experienced this, so I don't know what to feel. But we definitely need, more awareness for them,
Mm-hmm.
more support. I think what kind of the influence that Brooke had on your family too. I think it kind of rubbed off on your sister because
Mm-hmm.
your oldest sister works with children with special needs,
Yes.
and then I think with her qualifications throughout the years of having her brother firsthand helps her help other people, and I think that's really really cool to see.
Yeah, whenever I meet someone who's a teacher or helps with people with individuals with special needs, I'm like I always thank them because for us, like we know it's not always easy, and I know it's like, but it's also like, well, like thank you so much for what you're doing because I know you're helping the universe and I know you're helping spread the awareness and being there for them. If I didn't know about this or learn about autism, I remember when I would go to the grocery store, the restaurant, and I'd be like, "Oh, why is that kid screaming? Like the kid's
Hmm.
screaming." And I'm like, now my eyes are open and be like, "Oh, you do not know what that individual's going through. You do not know how they're feeling or what they're going through, or if this is too much for the environment." So now when I hear a baby cry or a young child screaming in a restaurant or a grocery store or any location, I have no judgment to that because I'm like, I don't know what they're going through. Or when you see someone who is acting a certain way, I feel like you always need to be nice to everyone in this world. You need to be nice to whoever you see. If someone's acting a certain way that you're like, oh, why is this person moving their hands a lot, having difficulty speaking or something? I'm like, you don't know what they're going through. Or you
Hmm.
don't know if that's the way that they communicate. So I feel like everyone in this world needs to have patience, but also have a kind of deeper understanding and have love and support to everyone because I'm lucky enough that my eyes were opened early on and I'm able to have vision, but a lot of people don't know still.
Hmm.
And a lot of people aren't educated in that sense. And there's a lot of like um, organizations that help with children and adults with autism, and they do give a lot of statistics and they do give a lot of information, which is really important. And I feel like everyone should educate themselves and everyone should have the opportunity to go online and learn a little bit more. And nowadays we have TikTok too, where you could search up videos, and a lot of these individuals who are on the spectrum have huge followings on
Yeah, they're
social.
big on TikTok.
Yes,
They're so funny and they're
yes.
so like genuine and
Yeah.
like innocent. It's like,
No, and then they're so honest too in the sense of
hmm
what they go through, and that is very much informative, and you get a deeper understanding for someone who actually has it. Because I can tell you as much information as I know as a sibling to someone on the spectrum, but the people who will give you the correct, right information, the people who are actually going through it, the people who actually live the life. Like I can say as much as I can say, but the true individuals are the ones who are actually on the spectrum and have their story because every single one of their story is so unique. And I feel like they should have the opportunity to have all these platforms to share their story and educate everyone.
oh yeah, definitely. So that's your guys' homework for this
Yeah.
episode is to educate yourself a little bit more. Kind of, just gain some insight on
Mhm.
certain situations that you might, see in public. Like you said, not, like since you were kind of brought into it earlier, you kind of knew the cues. A
Mhm.
lot of times, like you see someone at the store, or you're out in public, a kid throwing a tantrum, you're like, oh, this kid is just maybe misbehaved or something
Correct.
like that. But a lot of times they're very misunderstood.
Mhm.
So, educating yourself, getting to know a little bit more about what they go through, it really would make a difference for sure.
Yeah.
And I think we should have Baruch maybe one day on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, Baruch
I
will
think that'd
not stop talking.
yeah, I think that'd be so funny to have Baruch, but it'd be really really cool to have him one day.
Yeah, for a while we did have little social media accounts for him because he's so into like vlogging and taking videos and stuff. But we're like, I think he's still a little young for now. But if you were to tell him, he's totally down for it. He's the type of person who you'll meet and he'll instantly like love you and
Oh yeah.
you'll love him. Like I remember like
There's like not a bad bone
oh
in
no.
him. He does not.
No. And then I like a lot of my friends who are my new friends are like, oh, I always see Baruch on either your social media or my social media, on Snapchat, and he's like, I feel like I know him already. And then they meet him and they're like in love, like they love him, and they're like, oh, I finally met Baruch. Um, he's so funny. He is like the whole. I don't know what the term is. Like he's not like center of attention because he chooses to be, but like we all just get attracted to him because he makes us laugh, he makes us smile, he'll start dancing, like
His
he's the
energy
life
is,
of the party. That's
yeah.
the word I was like. He's the life of the party.
Without intending to be too.
Yeah,
His energy, it just like radiates everyone
yeah,
towards him, and
yeah. You can not like be sad around him because he'll do anything in his power to make sure you're happy and you're okay. I love Baruch.
it's funny when he starts dancing too. He learned how to throw it back a little bit, and
Oh
he's
yeah.
been throwing it back ever since.
He's a dancer. He's a singer now. He, for my birthdays or my graduation celebrations, like we have the mariachi, and he'll go.
He jumped in with the mariachi. He
Yeah,
had his guitar, and he was playing with them.
yeah, he'll do it. He does not like. He's not shy, and that's what I like because growing up I was so shy. Like I would be afraid to talk to people. I would be so timid. But no, he is like down to talk to anyone and do anything and have the opportunity for whatever.
And I think that's another thing too. Is like Baruch's not shy,
Uh-huh.
but then again, on the same thing, there's other individuals who are really
Yeah.
shy. They don't. It's not like they don't want to communicate or talk with anybody, but they can't. Like
Yeah.
they have like those troubles. So that just shows like how broad everything can be, and how unique every individual story is, and how how unique their paths are and what they go through. So
Yeah.
it's really important to just inform yourself as much as you can, help them, spread more awareness, and really start just taking it to the next level and
Yeah.
trying to make more of a difference.
Yeah.
Because the more we can, because we will never fully understand them, but the more we try to, the better we can help them.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, that's what really matters, just being there for them and then supporting them through it all.
I really, really, really give a huge applause to those businesses and those corporations who give the support to children with autism or they give awareness to it because like Vans, they have their autism awareness shoes every year. And I love that they do that because they have like the shirts, they have the shoes, and I'm like, and also they make it very comfortable for them. So whenever they have that launch, I try to get some for Baruch. And then they also work with, I forget what the organization is called, but they help teach children or people with autism or ADHD or other special needs to learn how to skateboard. So a couple of their donations go to that. There's a bunch of brands who like now showcase it a little bit more and brings a little bit more awareness themselves too, because now I feel like when I wear that, I'm sharing the story, or people look at it and they're like, oh, like let me learn more about it, hopefully. So.
Because April is Autism Awareness Month,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
April is.
So even though April is the month of autism, it's never a bad time to spread awareness,
No.
support, and just educate and learn.
Yeah, like for me, I even got a tattoo,
Yeah.
and it's a puzzle piece, and in the middle, it's B and a heart for Baruch. And I'm like, that it's because he has a huge impact. Well, all my siblings have a huge impact in my life, but he brought so much love, unity into our family and taught us so much, and he teaches us so much every single day. So I was like, no, like this is something I want on my body the rest of my life, because it is something that truly has impacted me. And I was actually supposed to get it with my other sibling, my other sister and brother, and every single day they always talk smack to me that I just did it because I was 18. I mean, my mom and my dad said it's okay, but they're like, you didn't wait for us. You didn't wait for us. So.
Well, now, DJ, Vanessa, you're getting called out. It's your time to get the tattoo.
Yeah.
What is does the puzzle, because the puzzle piece means something?
Yeah, so you know how there's the ribbon for other like breast cancer awareness, suicide awareness, for autism awareness, it's puzzle pieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he is a huge piece of a puzzle in my life.
Oh.
So a couple messages, but no, that's literally the ribbon is like a bunch of puzzle pieces.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. So I think, it was a really good talk. It'll probably be a wrap for today's episode. Before we go, I'm going to make a video on Instagram, but we're going to donate to the organization Autism Speaks. We're going to send them $100. And for every like on this video, we'll send them another $2. So, share with your friends, go really, educate yourself, bring more awareness to autism, because there's such amazing, unique individuals who each have their own story to tell. So, let's blow this up. And then by the time we have the next podcast is when we'll do all the donating, once we'll tally everything up. But other than that, thank you for being on the show.
So happy to be here.
Maybe next time we could get Baruch, hopefully get a little bit more of his side of the story and what he, what he goes through. But, thanks for, elaborating on his story and telling it from your perspective. There's a lot of individuals out there I know who can relate, whether they have somebody in their family, your cousin, friend, whoever that be, but we'll see you guys next time. And as always, sigue adelante.